Right. In the last session, we are trying to understand what is concrete method and what is abstract method. Can you tell me what is the difference between concrete method and abstract method? The method which contains a body is called as concrete method. The method which does not contain the body is called as abstract method. To write the method as a abstract, we are using a keyword called abstract keyword. When we are writing interface, when we are writing a interface, writing abstract keyword is mandatory or writing abstract keyword is optional. When we are writing abstract keyword, when we are writing a interface, writing abstract keyword is optional. All right. Yesterday we have created one interface. Can you tell me what is a interface and why we need to go for interface? What is a interface and why we need to go for interface? Right. Interfaces are used to achieve loosely coupling and abstraction. Interfaces contains only abstract methods. That statement is true up to 1.7 version of Java. In 1.8, in the interface we can write concrete methods also. Those are default methods and static methods. We'll discuss in 1.8 futures. Right. What is the keyword we are using to create an interface? To create an interface, we will use interface keyword. Interface will contain the constructor or interface will not contain the constructor. Interface will not contain the constructor. Interface will contain only abstract method. As the constructor is not available, can we create object for the interface or we cannot create object for the interface? As the constructor is not available, we cannot create the object for the interface. If I have a interface, multiple classes can provide the implementation. If once interface is created, as I told you, for example, if I have a bank, if I have a bank interface, then multiple banks can provide implementation for that interface. SBI, Axis, HDFC, ICICI, like that. There are several banks are available who are going to provide implementation for bank interface. Once interface is available, multiple classes can implement the interface. What is the meaning of implementing a interface? Overriding all the abstract methods. Implementing a interface means overriding interface abstract methods. When we are implementing a interface, then it's mandatory to implement all the abstract methods of the interface. Suppose if you are implementing this bank interface, there are two abstract methods available. You need to implement both methods. You need to implement both methods. To implement a interface, which keyword we are using? To implement a interface, we will use implements keyword. One Java class can implement multiple interfaces at a time. One Java class can implement multiple interfaces at a time. But one Java class can extend the properties from only one class, can implement multiple interfaces at a time. One Java class can extend properties from multiple, can extend the properties from only one class, and it can implement multiple interfaces at a time. One Java class can extend properties from only one class and it can implement multiple interfaces at a time. I have taken one interface called bank. Can I write main method inside the interface? Can I write a main method inside the interface? No. We cannot write the main method because interface should contain only abstract methods. Main method is a concrete method. Main method should have a body to execute the program. We cannot write main method inside the interface. Okay. Here I have taken a class interface called bank. Public interface bank. Public abstract void money transfer. Public abstract void check balance. Writing this abstract is mandatory or optional? Optional. If I don't write it, come on. If I don't write abstract keyword, then what will happen? If you don't write the abstract keyword, then compiler will add abstract keyword for your abstract methods. Alright. Once the bank interface is available, I have taken HDFC Bank and I am able to override the methods. What is overriding? What is method overriding? Writing same method in the parent class and the child class is called overriding. Here I am extending the properties or I am implementing the properties. I am implementing. Public class HDFC Bank implements bank. Money transfer, check balance. Okay. My class is implementing interface money transfer from HDFC, checking balance from HDFC. Can one interface have multiple implementations? Yes. So there is another class which is also implementing bank interface. Okay. Public class Axis Bank implements bank interface. We are overriding money transfer method in the Axis Bank. We are overriding check balance. In the bank interface there are two methods available. Can I implement only one method? Is it valid? Why? Why it is invalid? Whenever you are implementing an interface, there is a rule. When we are implementing an interface, then it's mandatory to implement all abstract methods of that interface. When we are implementing an interface, then it is mandatory to implement all abstract methods of that interface. How many methods are available in the bank? Two methods. So when my Axis Bank is implementing the bank, it has to implement both methods. Implementing a interface means overriding the method. Abstract method available in the interface, for that method we need to provide the implementation. Abstract method available, for that we need to provide implementation. What is abstract method? What is a concrete method? What is abstract method? What is a concrete method? The method which contains the body is called as concrete method. The method which does not contain the body, it is called abstract method. Now, here guys, observe. I have a bank. I have a bank. It is one interface. My bank is one interface. For this bank, there are two implementations available. One is Axis Bank and another one is HDFC Bank. Okay. Yes. Axis Bank implements bank. Axis Bank is implementing bank and HDFC Bank also implementing bank. Okay. One interface having two implementations. One interface can have multiple implementations also. One interface is there. For that interface there are two implementations are available. One interface can have multiple implementations also. One interface can have multiple implementations also. Now, interface will contain the constructor or interface will not contain the constructor? No constructor. Is it valid or not? Is it valid or invalid? Why it is invalid? Why it is invalid? Interface does not contain the constructor, hence object cannot be created for the interface. Interface will not contain the constructor, hence object cannot be created for the interface. But here guys, for interface, object cannot be created, but for interface we can create reference variable. It is valid. Here in the second line, am I creating the object? Am I creating a variable? Am I creating an object? Am I creating a variable? I am creating a variable. For interface, object cannot be created, but for interface, reference variable can be created. Bank B is equal to new Axis Bank. What is happening here? Correct. Interface reference variable holding implementation class object. Okay. Axis Bank is implementing bank interface. HDFC Bank is implementing bank interface. Bank B is equal to new bank. Here I can create like this. First line, bank B is equal to new bank. Bank B is equal to new bank, valid or invalid? Invalid. Why invalid? Come on, why it is invalid? Come on guys. For interface, constructor will not be available and you cannot create the object. What is the meaning of object creation? Allocating the memory and calling the constructor. Constructor available or not available? In the constructors we discussed, if you don't write the constructor, compiler will add the constructor, right? Then why you cannot create the object? Compiler will add the constructor for the classes, not for the interfaces. Are you getting my point? When your class does not have a constructor, then compiler will add the constructor. When your class does not have a constructor, compiler will add the constructor. But for the interface, compiler will not add the constructor. You have to write the constructor. But can you write for the interfaces? Interfaces will not accept that. Interfaces will not accept that. That's why object cannot be created. Now let us see bank B. B is equal to new Axis Bank. B is equal to new Axis Bank. B is equal to new HDFC Bank. Is it valid or invalid? Is it valid or invalid? Valid. This is valid. This is also valid. For interface, we cannot create the object, but interface can hold its implementation class object. Bank is a interface. Bank of B. So B is a variable which is belongs to bank type. B is a variable which is belongs to bank type. B is a interface reference variable. Can I call B is a interface reference variable? Yes. B is a interface reference variable. Interface reference variable can hold implementation class object. For the bank interface, how many implementation classes available? There are 2 implementation classes available for the bank. In the B variable, you can store Axis Bank object or you can store HDFC Bank object also. Alright. Now, here in my program, bank is one interface, HDFC Bank is implementing, Axis Bank is also implementing. Let me go for one class called Bank Demo. Let me go for one class called Bank Demo. Inside this bank demo, I am writing main method. Inside the bank demo, I am writing one main method. Now, inside this main method, bank B is equal to new bank. Valid or invalid? Invalid, because object cannot be created. Can I create like this? Is it valid? What I am creating? Reference variable. Now, in this variable, what I can store? Can I store 10? In that variable, can I store 10? No. Why? when you want to store the value to the variable, you need to check the data type of the variable. What is the name of the variable? B. What is the data type? Bank. That means in this variable you need to store bank type object. But bank is an interface. You cannot create the object. Then what you can store? That interface implementation class object you can store. How many implementations available? Two. What are those two? Axis Bank and HDFC Bank. B is equal to new Axis Bank. B is equal to new Axis Bank. B dot money transfer, B dot check balance. Valid or not? Now here I am calling B is equal to new HDFC Bank. B dot money transfer, B dot check balance. Okay guys, now tell me what I am doing in this program. Tell me what I am doing in this program. Right. Bank B, I am creating a variable. This is what? Reference variable. Storing IMPL object into reference variable. Now, what is B? What is B? B is a reference variable holding which class object? Axis Bank. When I call B dot money transfer, which class method will be called? Axis Bank method will be called. Here B dot money transfer, which class method will be called? HDFC. That means the method will be called based on the object which is holding by the variable. For interface, we cannot create the object directly, but for interface reference variable, in the interface reference variable, we can store implementation class object. This is a interface. There are two methods available. This is a HDFC Bank implementing the bank, overriding two methods. It is a Axis Bank implementing bank interface, overriding two methods. Now I am creating one class called bank demo. I am writing a main method. What is the purpose of a main method? What is the purpose of a main method? Main method is used to run the program. Inside the main method I have logic. What is my logic? Bank B. B is a reference variable belongs to interface. Interface reference variable can hold implementation object. B is equal to new Axis Bank. Axis Bank object I am storing into B. B dot money transfer. Axis Bank method will be called. What method will be called? Axis Bank method will be called because B dot money transfer, B is holding Axis Bank object, so it will check for this method in the Axis Bank. B dot to check balance, what will happen? B dot to check balance, what will happen? Axis Bank method will be called. Now B is equal to new HDFC. What I am doing here? What I am doing here in the line number 11? What I am doing in the line number 11? I am reinitializing the B variable with the HDFC object. Interface reference variable can hold implementation object. When I call B dot money transfer here, what will happen guys? HDFC Bank method will be called. HDFC Bank method will be called. Here also HDFC Bank method will be called. Now run the program. Run the program. Money transfer from Axis, checking balance from Axis. Yes man, here I am calling methods. It is printing 2 lines. After that I am calling 2 lines. It will print it, right? Valid or not? Program is working as expected or not? Yes, program is working as expected. When I call B dot money transfer, it will go to Axis Bank method will execute this statement. When I call B dot check balance, it will go to Axis Bank, will execute this line. After that, I am reinitializing the variable. I am calling B dot money transfer. HDFC Bank method will be called. I am calling B dot check balance. HDFC check balance will be called. That means both the implementation class methods are executing. For interface, you cannot create the object, but for interface reference variable, you can store implementation object. Yes. Now tell me why we need to go for interfaces? Why we need to go for interfaces, sir? Why are you writing a interface here? Why don't you write the methods directly in the class, create the object and call now? Why we need to write the methods in the interface? Why we need to implement them in the class? To achieve abstraction. First thing is to achieve abstraction. When somebody look at my interface, will they understand anything? No. Just there are two methods available. Logic is available or logic is not available. Logic is not available. Logic is not available. Logic is your choice. Who want to implement my interface, they can follow my rules and they can write their own logic. Interface contains a collection of abstract methods. The method which does not contain the body is called as abstract method. One